every single person that's seen it, they've been impressed straight away. There was a stage in January where I was signing up about 90% of people that were coming to consultation.
Hello and welcome to the BuddyBoss Podcast, where we dive deep into the strategies that will help you build, launch and grow your online communities, courses and memberships. I'm your host, Jason Broderick, Marketing Manager and Head of Content here at BuddyBoss. If it's your first time here or you just haven't gotten around to it yet, click the subscribe button below this video and then click that bell icon to make sure you keep up with all of our latest content here at BuddyBoss. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to Abdullah Neil Williams from Sophicly, the English tuition platform for 16-year-old UK students that helps them get top grades in their GCSEs. Abdullah has gone from dragging a suitcase full of books all around London, earning as much as he was losing in travel and costs, to having his best year ever of student results. In this episode, he tells us how being made redundant during the pandemic was actually a good thing, and how it accelerated his plans for Sophicly. He also tells us how BuddyBoss helped him free Sophicly from the limiting and boring experience that his students were just putting up with on Thinkific, and how migrating to BuddyBoss is wowing his students and helping to convert 90% of his consultations into customers. Let's dive in. Abdullah, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. So tell me about how you got started in education.
It's a little bit of a tricky one because I used to work in a sort of outdoor sort of industry, and it was sort of like taking people on. I don't know if you've been to the O2. You can go over the dome.
Yeah.
So I used to take people over that.
Nice.
And it was fun. It was fun, but like it just got really repetitive.
Right.
And I was just looking for something else to do.
Uh-huh.
And then and I got married, and then my wife was like, because she's a teacher, and she was like, well, why don't you try teaching? And I was like, no, I can't be a teacher. I can't do that. And then, but I was kind of miserable with what I was doing. So she was like, come on, just try it. There's this little course you can do, ESOL course. It's a few weeks long. It's about 3 months long or something. And then you can possibly get a job after that. So I was like, all right. So I did the course, and then, I needed to look for work experience. So I found this little tuition center that they were taking people on, and, I started really enjoying it. I started really enjoying it. And then, I found a job in a school. It's an international language school, and was teaching there. And then just basically people within my community just found out that I was teaching, and they started asking me to teach their kids, and it just kind of spread from there.
So tell me then, before you made the decision to launch your business online, what was the sort of, how was your business doing at that point? Were you were teaching like mostly one-to-one students, that kind of thing, all kind of in-person students? Was that how it was going?
Yeah, one-to-one, in-person. And again, like when you start, it's great. It's like, I really enjoyed it and stuff like that. But then after a while, you start to realize that there are a few problems with it. Mm-hmm. So one of the things, for example, was that, because obviously I teach in the UK, so I teach the GCSE curriculum. And so if you think about just in that sense, there's about 24 books all in all. So when you get a student, they could be studying any three of those 24 books. So what I used to do was I used to have this suitcase that I used to drag with me, just full of books, because I was literally just learning on the go as I was teaching them, and so that was difficult, dragging this massive suitcase of books. But then after a while, other things started cropping up as well, because I was driving, and like, for example, the gearbox went in the car. So it's like, then that's £1,500 there and then, to fix an automatic gearbox.
Right.
And then you're just like, okay, this is not really working,
So you were traveling to students, or were you?
Yeah, I was traveling to students.
Were you like teaching them from their home, or were you like, was there a teaching center you were going to where they were coming to you, that kind of thing?
I started in a center, but then when I went private, I started going to people's houses.
That's interesting. So like my only other kind of experience of like one-to-one tuition as a child was music. It was like learning piano or whatever, and you would. You would have to go to their house. Like they never came to me.
I see.
I had to go to them. So it's really interesting to hear like you were the one who had to schlep all across London to like go to each person's house or whatever. That's that's hard, man.
That I would say is probably a consequence of not going through the formal system, like what you said. So it was sort of like if somebody said they wanted tuition, I was like, I need the experience. So I'd do anything to go and teach them,
Yeah, got it.
I think it's paying off now, but at the time it was a bit of a struggle.
So we talked a little bit about like the struggles of your like running an in-person, physical, in the real world, having to drive to people's houses with a suitcase full of books, like business, which is obviously already reasonably difficult, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me then, how did the pandemic then make that worse? Or, did that like, was that around the time, you'd been kind of operating for a little bit and then suddenly you had this pandemic on top of that? Does that timeline kind of ring true? How long had you been doing that before the pandemic, I guess is the question.
Well, I kind of, I realized years ago that I'd have to move online.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly because of these experiences that I was talking about. And I remember, like, because I went to Australia because I got family over there, and I went to see my grandmother, and my cousin was studying a PhD at the time. And I was talking to her about this, and she was like, "Yeah, but everything's going to move online eventually, And I was like, "Yeah, it's true, isn't it?" And she was like, "Yeah, and everything's going to become just modular and stuff." So, and it just made me think about it. And I was like, "Yeah, I should probably just move my work online."
Yeah,
it just makes so much sense.
Absolutely,
yeah.
You were certainly ahead of the pandemic curve, kind of like riding the wave of like the online world was already kind of becoming a little bit more accessible, I guess, for people to build stuff on, but it wasn't the pandemic didn't push you over the decision line, shall we say?
The pandemic accelerated my plans. That's what it did. Mm-hmm. So ironically, it was actually kind of good for me because I got made redundant first of all. So we got a little bit of redundancy package. It wasn't much,
okay,
but that gave me enough breathing room and space to think, okay, what am I going to do when or if the pandemic is over? Am I going to go back to the classroom? And I was like, I don't really want to do that, to be honest with you. Or am I going to focus on this online business? And I just went straight in, just head first, just 24/7, just working on my online business and stuff.
God,
like
it's
that.
So interesting, and I had a very similar experience, but like while quite a lot of my peers were really suffering like handbrake turns in their careers and lives, my world was sort of like multiplying and growing really rapidly, and suddenly opportunities were like that before I would have had to work really hard to try and convince somebody that their idea could be put online. Suddenly everyone was pouring their energy into moving their things online, and everybody wanted help with that, and everybody wanted it done today. Like even my mum, funnily enough, my mum works in education as well, but she works in the sort of administrative side for the government. So she does like she manages like the government resource center for special education in Ireland. And like the pandemic hit, and my mum came to me and she was like, "Remind me again what you do for work." And I was like, "So I help people launch online courses and communities." And she was like, "And so like if the government wanted to do that, would that be something you could do?" And I was like,
wow.
"Yeah. What kind of scale are we talking?" And she was like, "Well, the entire of the Irish education system are like looking at ways to move online, and obviously all of the like constituencies are all disparate. They're all managed by their own devolved organizations, and each one is sort of like suddenly having to move everything online. But like like it seemed like all of particularly the old institutions suddenly overnight were like, right, for years we've been pushing back against this internet thing. Now it's the only way we're going to survive is by turning to the online world.
And I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, how underprepared like the educational system was in general. I was quite shocked at that, because even the school that I was at, like they tried moving online, but it seemed like they tried and it just sort of like ground to a halt. And then all of a sudden they're trying to get more students to come in from overseas. And I was like, guys, like that's like a dinosaur system now. It's over now. You can't, I don't even know how the school's doing now, the international school, because I know they had to get rid of a lot of members of staff. So I was surprised at how poorly, prepared just the educational system was in general.
That's a good segue into my next question actually, which is, so you had this realization you wanted to move online. you would kind of like the spark had been lit in your mind of this world is sort of moving in this direction. I want to start riding that wave. So what would you say were some of the initial challenges that stopped you from doing it or slowed you down from like, you know, initially building your business online? What were the things that like the roadblocks in your way at the start?
The biggest problem I had initially was just finding a decent online platform. That was the biggest problem for me because I tried Thinkific. So I don't know if you've tried it, but it was quite good because it's sort of like it's all in one, isn't it? So it's like they do everything kind of for you. And then like I think I got like 200 lessons up in like 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really quick.
Yeah.
But then after a while I was like, you know, I realized that I could only do particular things. Like I could only have videos. I could only have very simple quizzes, some downloads, and I could have discussions. And that was it. So once the students had gone through the different things, they were just basically just repeating the same process again and the same type of activities and stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is getting a bit boring because I teach obviously 14 to 16-year-old generally. You know, their attention span's not the greatest, and I wanted more variety for them and the ability to do more for them to.
Yeah, that's interesting. Basically. So how was the engagement with the students on that platform? Was it good, or was it just very like, you know, very sort of like you delivering information? Did it have good engagement with students? Not really.
It was. I think they were. This is what I feel happened. Is I think they were just putting up with it, and it was kind of okay. It wasn't too bad, but I just felt like there needed to be more to it. You know, they were doing it, but I didn't feel like there was much like excitement or interest in the platform that I was using at the time. So
how did discovering BodyBoss then help you to change that, or help you to move faster or quicker?
The main thing with BodyBoss was the fact that it's on WordPress. It gave me just so many options, you know, and we have, even within BodyBoss itself, you've got the forums, you've got the profiles. My big thing is I use the LearnDash integration. So we've got that as well, and then you can extend it with things like H5P and, you know, just so many different things now. So I can like give them so many different types of interactive activities, and they love it.
So you had like a sort of a new world of possibilities kind of just opened up before you.
Yeah, the doors just literally just open, and you're just like, okay, I can do lots of other things now besides just these 5 activities that I was doing. You know, it's like I can do so many other things, and that was really cool. Yeah,
amazing. So tell me, before I ask you a few more questions about, you know, BodyBoss in particular and how you're using it, if somebody who's starting out like you, you know, who's in your shoes right now, is just starting out, what's the best piece of advice that you could give them to get them on their way?
My best piece of advice would be to just start. That's my best piece of advice.
Great.
Yeah, don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
Just start. Like, no matter how rough it is. Like, I can't remember where I heard about this idea of, what do you call it? MVP, minimum viable product.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that once, and I thought, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Like, just get your product out.
Yeah.
And get students to use it. That's another thing as well. It's like just getting people to interact with your product and whatever it is that you're offering, and then listening to the feedback from that and seeing where you can solve problems and things like that. It's been absolutely massive for me. Just starting, just getting out there, get the students to use it and work on the feedback.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. I think whatever your other piece of advice was going to be, I think stick with that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, okay, that's not bad actually. Yeah.
No, you go on. You can. What was the other thing that you were going to say?
The other thing is find a decent host. That's the other thing I was going to say.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
To be honest, I'm still looking. I'm with SiteGround at the moment, not bad. But I feel like sometimes it's a little bit slow. So that's another thing.
Tell me then, to jump back into the sort of, you know, how you're using BodyBoss. What's been the biggest benefit to you personally of building your business on BodyBoss?
The biggest benefit for me, is that I think that it's really helped me to stand out in my field. Because if you imagine the tutoring field is pretty saturated, isn't it? I mean, there's loads of tutors out there, you know, and they're all offering But I think they're all offering probably something quite similar to each other. It's like maybe they're going to do something on like Google Classroom or, something like that. Or maybe they don't, or maybe they just use Google Docs or something like that. Now, I still use Google Docs as well. So I get the students to write on that. But the truth is that now that I've been working on my BodyBoss platform for about, nearly 2 years now, the truth is that because I have consultations with them before they start with me, because I have to figure out if they're suitable, if I can solve the issues. Am I even doing the books that they need to study? If not, can I, get some information together, some resources together and stuff like that? So I need to have that consultation with them. But the thing is, as soon as they see the platform, I don't think there's never been a single person who said to me that, oh, it's not impressive, or it's just blah, it's just whatever. It's every single person that's seen it, they've been impressed straight away. There was a stage in January where I was signing up about 90% of people that were coming to consultations.
Wow.
And even the ones who weren't signing up, it probably wasn't because of that. It might have been some other issues, maybe timing or whatever. Or sometimes they weren't even the right age, or they were like if they were in Scotland or something. And it was like the curriculum's a little bit different. I was I don't know if I can do that. So that's definitely helped me to stand out a lot.
Wow.
And even the other day I had a student starting, actually a brother and a sister. And when I called the mother afterwards, they were like, "Oh yeah, they can see the difference between this and the other lessons which they've had." So it's really helped me to stand out. Yeah,
that's
massively.
awesome. That's great. It's really great to hear. So, what do you think then is the biggest benefit to the student of you using BodyBoss as your platform? They come in, they convert them, and that's like it makes you stand out as the business owner or as the tutor.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think is like how does BodyBoss make the student's experience better?
First of all, I think the interface is beautiful. That's one of the things that caught my eye straight away when I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, this is really nice. So, and then the other thing as well is that it's just allowed me to just have this, I call it like an ecosystem for learning. So it's just, everything is just really centralized for the students, so I make use of the profiles. So I make sure that they put in their, what books they're studying, what are their goals. And I have like a little spreadsheet, kind of a study system for them. So, they put the links for that in there so I can go in and check their work. But in terms of like, the lessons and stuff like that, it allows me to, basically my goal is to help the students to get to the top grades. So it's just allowed me to lay out the materials in such a way that I'm giving them the best of myself in this learning platform that they can access anytime. And it's a pleasure for them to go through and to work through it and stuff like that. And so far, like the feedback and stuff has been really, really good. I haven't had anybody complaining about, the platform or the learning. And, the most important thing as well is that I am getting really, really good results as well. The students are getting very, very good results. And I think this year will probably be my strongest year in terms of results. That's what I think is going to happen.
Fingers crossed.
We'll wait and see after the exams,
Amazing.
But so far it's going really well.
So having moved from another platform, would you say that your students that are on your new platform are getting better results than they would have done previously?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's just more engaging for them. It's just much more of a pleasure for them to go through, and just, the bigger variety of stuff, having even just little things like having the, the profile and stuff like that. That's been really, really useful. So
amazing.
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Great. So what's the next big thing that you're focusing on building within your platform? What's your next, like the next exciting thing you want to add, or what are you building next?
I think after the summer, because I'm trying to get the courses complete. So it's a race against time all the time, just trying to get all the material complete for them and stuff like that. But after the summer, when they've all done their exams and things, I definitely want to start working on the app. I'd really love to start doing that. I'd love to do it now, but I just don't have the capacity. I just don't have the time to do it. So that's another thing that I'd love to get, because I think that that'll be another sort of feather in my cap. It'll be like, he's got an app as well. So I
for
think
sure.
That
sounds like the right next step for you, definitely, for sure. I don't know, you may this may be like, oh, he's hard selling me while live on the podcast, but you may have seen we've got a done for you service. if that was something you wanted to consider, you don't have the time, whatever, then, you sound like the perfect candidate for somebody who could use that done for you service.
Oh, I actually forgot about that.
Well, see, you gave me a chance to promote it on the podcast. I didn't even plan that.
yeah.
But yeah,
no, that's actually
you'd
a
be
good
the
idea.
perfect candidate for something like that, like business already up and running, has the platform, has the content already flowing in there, just doesn't have the time or resources to execute the app themselves. That's exactly what the done for you service was created for, so that we would build all of that for you,
Wow, that's okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
I'll have a look at that.
Cool. That's a great way to jump into the lightning round. Then we'll transition into these fast questions.
Sweet.
So you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So what's the one book that you think all entrepreneurs should read?
They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't read that one. I'll have to check that one out. What's the sort of main premise of that?
Just very simple. You just make sure that you are addressing your clients' needs and their questions, basically. Just find out what their questions are and address them. And that's the whole premise of the book.
Great.
So,
simple is best, for sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite business quote or inspirational quote?
Every problem is a gift. Without problems, we would not grow, by Anthony Robbins.
Nice. Great. I like it. Like it with Tony Robbins.
The pandemic, right? It was a problem, but it helped us grow.
Yeah. Every what was it? Every problem is a gift, or every challenge is a gift?
Every problem is a gift.
Every problem
I
is
guess
a
you
gift.
could say every challenge is a gift as well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. To quote Jason Broderick.
Yeah.
Misquoting Tony Robbins.
Exactly.
What's your number one place that you go online to learn about building your business?
It's a place called Students on Demand. Yeah, they deal specifically with the tutoring space, and they are very good at what they do. Very, very good.
Maybe we should check them out, see what they're doing. If it's good, maybe pull a few lessons in from them.
Yeah, them combined with BodyBoss has changed everything for me.
Wow,
basically.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you wish you knew before you started your business?
I wish I knew about BuddyBoss. I know it sounds like a bit cheesy for me to say that, but what you have to imagine is that because I started on Thinkific, I built 200 lessons on there, and when I realized that it had certain limitations, I had to dismantle the entire thing and start again. So I wish I'd known that, but I guess I had to go through the experience to see what I really wanted, basically.
For sure. Well, hopefully, people listening to this will come to that realization before they have to go through that pain.
Exactly.
So that's good. If you had to start your business all over again and you only had $500, what would you do first?
I'd probably buy some books. So some books to help me to learn and stuff. I've got tons of books, like literature books, business books, all sorts of different things, because I was never a big reader when I was in school and stuff like that. But now when I'm older, I realized that the saying that knowledge is power really is true. It really is true, isn't it? It's like, it does help you a lot. Yeah.
So if I gave you $1 million today, what's the very next thing that you would do to grow your business?
I would build some kind of a massive, powerful team with amazing things like video, motion graphic skills and things like that. Because I think that's one of the main things that's kind of missing from my business at the moment. Is my videos are a bit plain because I don't have time to edit the videos that much. So I'd love to have people who could do things like that. Maybe some developers who could extend, somehow. So I don't know, something like that, and maybe grow it out, expand it to maybe different countries and things like that.
Nice, great. Yeah, I guess like the overriding point there being investing in a team.
Yeah, exactly. That is something I'm thinking about at the moment, but it's just how to go about it. I've got a few ideas, but it's a bit tricky at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. How would you define success?
I would define success as seeing the progress that that you've made over a given amount of time. And not necessarily in monetary terms, but I think progress is success. As long as you're moving forward and you're working towards your goal and you're getting better and better at what you do, I think that is success. Because It's not built overnight, is it? It's just something that takes time. And
I guess that's sort of like, in a roundabout way, the sort of the kind of cliche of success is about the journey, not the destination.
Oh, there we go.
You know,
that's it. That's it.
Got it all up here for I was going to say up here for dancing. That's not the saying at all. Clearly, my sayings are all over the place today. I don't know anyone who dances on their head. Amazing. All right, last one for you then. Where can people go to find out more about Sophicly or find you online?
Well, you can go to the website, Sophicly, and so sophicly.com, and you can contact me through there. I also have a Twitter, is that what they call it, Twitter handle? So it's just at Sophicly.
Nice.
And I'm also on Facebook as well, and it's actually Abdullah Neil Williams GCSE English Mastery.
Nice. Okay. We might need to change up that name to get a bit of a brand, what do you call it? Brand consistency.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
People are going searching for Sophicly on Facebook and they can't find you.
Yeah, that's true.
See, there you go. Always learning. It was amazing to have you on. Do you know what? I just remembered I forgot to ask you at the start. We were talking before we got on. I was going to tell you, I was going to ask you about the name. So initially, when I read the name, I was like, "Oh, that's to do with Sophocles, the playwright, right? The Greek playwright."
It sounds like it.
And then I was like, "No, wait a minute. Maybe it's to do with sophistry, like when you like tell elaborate stories or whatever." And I realized sophists. Oh, I never knew sophists were like ancient Grecian teachers, right? Have I got that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah. But the name Sophicly, there's a little bit of a small story behind it, because it's basically, I couldn't find a name for the website. I could find names, but every time I found a name that I wanted, it would, there'd be like £2,000. One of them was like £40,000 or something crazy like that. So you know how it is, like I wanted a really simple and short name, something like Wix, for example, but it seems like the more simple and easy they are to remember, the more expensive they are.
For sure, yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I wanted a name that conveys the idea that what I'm doing is about helping students to improve their intelligence. So a sophic is also it also means, someone who's intelligent, basically.
Ah, got it. Yeah. So like if somebody could be described as a sophic.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think that was
all
taken.
Of those 4 or 5 connotations, they're all kind of any one of them would have been good.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I had to basically. I think that was taken, and then I think I was like, okay, I'm just going to put an ly at the end and just get going with this website.
Yeah. Classic. It was either that or call it sophic.ly or li.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got, after 3 weeks of looking for a name, I just got fed up and I was like, okay, Sophicly, that's it. Let's go. Let's start this thing.
Just get moving. Yeah. Just start.
Yeah,
as you said earlier, your favorite quote or whatever it was. Your favorite bit of advice, just get started. Yeah, moving.
Yeah, just start. Yeah.
Abdullah, it was amazing to chat to you, man. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming on. And everybody go check out Sophicly.
Thanks, Jason.
That was Abdullah Neil Williams from Sophicly, sharing with us how migrating from Thinkific to BuddyBoss has helped increase his conversions to 90% and deliver his best year ever of student results. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to let us know, then make sure to hit that like button below and then leave a quick comment to tell us what was the most valuable thing that you learned from this video. That's it from me. Until next time.